And we're back. Now, let's dive into the mechanisms of control that China is employing in Canada. Sam, election interference is another bombshell that you uncovered. CSIS says China flipped seats in the 2019 and 2021 elections, yet the Liberals and Public Inquiry downplayed their involvement. So, what's your hardest evidence that you've seen of Beijing targeting our democracy? And honestly, who's helping them here?
Well, Jonathan, I mean, I agree that the Hogue Commission really gutted the intelligence documents that it had to review. It only reviewed in a very narrow way what I had surfaced in my reporting at Global News and that the Globe and Mail followed. So remember, what CSIS knows is incredibly more broad than what was reviewed by the Hogue Commission. You asked hard evidence. I'm working on a story right now about Mark Carney, the liberal leader elect, and now our prime minister. His chief of staff, Marco Mendicino, was briefed on Vancouver City Hall municipal election interference in 2022. This will come as a surprise to Canadians because this information has never come out. I have new documents that I will report on indicating that Kennedy Stewart, the former Vancouver mayor, was indeed briefed in May 2022 that he was a target. Essentially, China wanted to take him out. Mendicino, the public safety minister, was briefed multiple times about China's threat. As you may recall, Kennedy Stewart, when this story surfaced, went to the CBC, Power and Politics, and
Yep.
said that those officers told him they were coming to him because they were putting reports up the chain in Ottawa and nothing was happening. So look, you want hard evidence. I have documents that say Mendicino was briefed before, 6 days after the Vancouver election. He and other top Trudeau officials, a very narrow group, got a very sensitive redacted report. All I can read from it is that the PRC is seeking to interfere at all levels across political spectrums, and that includes leveraging family members. And so the redacted document doesn't say more, but what the thought that raises in my mind is it's reported through open source that new mayor Ken Sim has a family member who is a Chinese official. So that
Right.
raises further thoughts in my mind. It's not the concrete evidence that you ask for, but I guess what I want to stress is the documents I continue to report on say that Canada's sovereignty is threatened by China and its interference from Indigenous bands to federal, municipal, provincial bodies. And it's across Canada. It's not just in Toronto or 11 candidates in the 2019 Toronto area federal election, which is what my reporting disclosed. Again, let me bring it back. Anyone that thinks that Justice Hogue looked deeply or broadly at the problem would be deeply wrong because it's just an incredibly small amount of information that came out and very minimized in terms of the seriousness.
Yeah, I saw it the same way. I couldn't believe that she would say the election's been interfered with. We know for sure. We just don't know how much, but it didn't actually sway anything. So it's to me the whole thing was a bit of a circus act. So to my surprise, in another case, China's telecom giant Huawei is still embedded in our networks. In addition, you've reported on secret Chinese police stations in Canada. So how do these pieces fit into China's control over Canadian infrastructure and our communities?
That's a great question. And I think you've pretty much connected the dots here. I can go a little, yeah, I can draw the lines there. Look, my reporting shows that the Chinese police stations in Toronto and Vancouver, although again, this has not come out in the Hogue Commission or really been acknowledged except for little shreds of testimony. Look, these police stations are run by the Ministry of Public Security, one of China's, police arms that's running a channel of operations in Canada, and it tasks, as I know, through direct source information, elite Chinese organized crime suspects that are, I know, targeted by RCMP in underground casino investigations, and my sourcing indicates would be involved in money laundering of fentanyl proceeds. So this is very serious. These suspects allegedly, and I believe to be true, running police stations would be the same ones that I know are involved in election interference networks. That
Right.
is offering that community voter support, even clandestine funding, I believe, to the candidates China wants to support. And I'll tie it off here. I'll point to one in Toronto who I won't name by name, but I know I can see him standing beside John McCallum in a thousand talents police, sorry, a thousand talents intellectual property collection operation, and that will connect to Huawei and the Winnipeg lab, I believe.
Wow, such a mess. Okay, we'll be right back.